Welcome and welcome back to the channel. I'm happy to see you once again. I hope you're doing well. So this is a channel where I share tips, insights and wisdom from my own life experience and also from the word of God. So if it's the first time to be here, please subscribe to the channel and share the videos. If it's you have already subscribed, I'm grateful and thank you. Yeah, welcome to the channel. As you can see, today we are going to discuss the topic of Black beautiful women from Southern Africa and especially Namibia, where I come from. Now, I chose Namibia because Namibia still have a diverse population of has a diverse population. It still has a 6% population of white community. We still have the black people that are of African descent, and we still have the generation of those that were born in the pre-colonial times where maybe the grandfather or grandmother was of German descent or Afrikaans, and there's a generation that have emerged from these relationships, and we still have a group of people that has a fair skin, maybe longer hair and stuff like that, and that are still part of our community. So today I just want us to, dissect into the perspective of beauty of Black women in Namibia. Yeah, so because of our pre-colonial past and the presence of this mixed community in our country, I've just decided to look at how do we perceive our beauty as Black women in our country. What are the ideas that have influenced the perception of our beauty? So today I wanted to focus on the question that is beauty still in the eye of the beholder? There's a phrase that says, no, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but is it still in the eye of the beholder? Now, as we are going to go on in the video, we are going to discover why I brought this question and what kind of answers are we going to answer to this question. Yeah, to give you a little background of myself, I moved to Windhoek at the age of 8. That's when I went to start school. So you can see that I was already late with 1 year. So moving to Windhoek at the house where I grew up, we did not have a television set, which I can say that it's a good thing because I was influenced by books and magazines that were at home by then. So I started to read at an earlier age. And these magazines were Afrikaans magazine, which I didn't know by then. So by the time that I started school, I already knew that this was Afrikaans. And even though I did not really understand, I could put one word with another word and could understand and get the meaning from the pictures and what the pictures actually portrayed. So growing up in a home also that we did not have a television set, there was a lot of storytelling as our grandmother would ask what was going on in the magazine, and my aunt would convey the message to her and tell her what was going on. That's where I now grow up listening to the stories and putting one thing after the other just to grasp of what was going on around me. Yeah, so it happened that another aunt of mine accidentally forgot her magazine at home. And when I found the magazine, because it's things that I was now, getting to like them. And every time I saw a book, I'll just grab. And to my surprise, this magazine was in English and it had Black people. Wow, what a relief that was. So I took this magazine. I kind of also hide it a bit so that she will forget it. And from that day on, I started to ask her, can you bring more magazines? Because I knew that she had these magazines that were in English and that had Black people in them. And I was wondering where she got them from. Because I love to see the pictures, even though the understanding was not that clear. I love to see the pictures of people who looked actually like me. So as time went by and I developed my understanding of English, I started to make a difference that these two magazines were actually different. The magazine of the white people, actually the Afrikaans magazine, had a lot of white people in it. All people were actually white. And the pictures were different. They portrayed pictures of big houses, gardening gardens. There were pictures of recipes, food. And at the end, what struck me the most was the pictures of self-care, where women would straightening that, blow their hair and take care of their skin. There was a lot of pictures of how maybe one should take care of themselves. So the Black magazine, on the other hand, had Black people. I loved the magazine, but even though the names of the people were not relatable, as I knew that it was not a magazine that was from my country. It must have been from another country. That was my understanding at the time. But I realized that the English magazine covered stories of most of the stories that it covered were horrible. They were stories of rape, kidnappings, and especially things that happened to young children. So it became a little bit unpleasant, and I think I loved the White People magazine more because it had like refreshing things. So, you can just imagine that as a child, I was drawn more to the pictures that were pleasant than the ones that were not pleasant. Yeah, so telling you this little history, I think I just wanted to make it clear how the ideology of white supremacy was passed down, through all kinds of things that people can get exposed to, like magazines. Media is one of those powerful things that ideologies can pass down to. So one can see that if you were really exposed to this kind of magazines, you could see that a lot of people were drawn more to the white magazines because everybody wanted to take care of themselves. Everybody wanted to take care of their physical appearance and all kinds of that. So if you really grow up in that time, you will definitely have an idea of maybe for me to look beautiful, I have to straighten my hair. These were the pictures that we exposed to. So people are visual and will more likely, to gravitate towards what looks pleasant to our eyes. And, by that time, when you look at a magazine and there's no one who's telling you this is the way you should take care of your, your natural kinky hair, and this is the way you are supposed to look like and take care of your black skin, protect yourself from the UV light and stuff like that. And all you are seeing is light-skinned women. So most definitely your mind will be washed. So definitely if you wake up one day and you don't look like the person that you were told to look like, you will work your way towards meeting the so-called standard that was handed to you. So I think this is how our mothers at the time lived, because this is how they have perceived their beauty to be, and these ideologies have passed down to us. Yeah, so coming down to the present, one may say that no, the things you are saying, my sister, those things don't exist anymore. People are comfortable in their skin and all that. But I've seen subtle things that are still among us. That's why I decided that this video is important and the message of Black beauty should be embraced among us. So there are still signs among us that I have seen and observed in my era growing up, that I've seen from our parents, the suggestion, the things that they say that we still have to do, because to them, in their mind, there's a standard of beauty that has to be met. So, for example, when I gave birth to my daughter, I remember one aunt of mine saying that no, you should use a peg, like a hanging peg, to clip your daughter's nose, so that the nose can be a little bit, of, I don't know how to call it in English, but to have that pointed shape, or you have to massage the nose to have the pointed shape. Yeah, and then also examples of things like the time that we were growing up, being exposed to this harsh, painful doing of hair, because I remember myself having a horrible experience of hair. So growing up, I was thinking that maybe the reason why the hair is pulled is because it has to come out of the skin and our hair is not growing. Because our parents would use phrases like, so me, I thought that maybe the hair is growing and it has to be pulled out of the skin. So that's what I thought at the time. And I realized when I grow up, became an adult, that no, the hair actually grows naturally and there's nothing that has to be pulled out of the skin. Yeah, so talking about hair, I was actually influenced by one of Nigerian American writer. She's a writer, she's an author. She spoke so much about hair issues, and I really give credit to her. Yeah, so coming back to the science and why I'm saying that beauty is still influenced by, somebody who handed to us a wrong mirror, is that growing up, there was also a lot of skin lightening products that were sold among our people. And these products, I remember also when I was a teenager, there was a time my sister and I, we bought a product and we applied to our skin. And then when I think my sister reacted first and her nose discolored, and then my goodness, I was so scared to continue with that thing. So I just left it. So for many years, I never tempted with my with my skin color. And I just decided that this is what God gave me and this is how I keep. So talking about this, a lot of people, our mothers, our grandmothers, they have been really affected by these products. And I think there were companies that were taking advantage, and they are still taking advantage today, producing products that have chemicals that really destroy the black people's skin color. Yeah, so such things, you can see that really there is an influence of somebody's idea about the perception of beauty. So the way we look at ourselves, we look at ourselves trying to, to meet the standard of somebody who said something. And this is the narrative that we need to change. Not only facial products, we also have relaxers. Growing up, I myself also applied, relaxers to my hair. And I remember growing a lot of wounds in my skin. So this thing of like straightening hair and stuff like that, somebody somewhere must have said something. Because really the way we applied and bought those relaxers is like, you don't really, something is uncomfortable, it's burning your skin, but then you let the skin heal, then you also go back and buy the same thing and put it back again, because I think this is something that had to change. I don't know if people are still applying, because I have left it many years ago, but for those that are still applying, I hope, people are using the right products, because these companies are making money out of, people that have been distorted, whose vision has been distorted. Yeah, and some of the subtle signs that are still in our community today, because, as I mentioned earlier, that Namibia is a diverse community, and a generation of those whose grandfather and grandmother were of maybe white descent, we still have those comparisons among our communities where maybe one child is more beautiful than the other because of a lighter version of the skin, or one child's hair is more beautiful, because soft hair doesn't mean beautiful. And the causa, the kinkier the hair, doesn't mean that the hair is bad or ugly or something like that. But we create those words and place them on our own children. When you are doing your child's hair, we are the one who invent those kind of words, and we speak them over our children. So once the child grow up, what they will do, they will definitely look for a relaxer to put in their head to soften them, so that maybe they can look like their sister or their neighbor or whoever. So these are just little narratives that we have to change as parents as well. And I also remember talking to another friend of mine one day, then she told me that, no, I want to, she said she wanted to visit, I think, one of these countries in the, in the north. And then she said that she wants to visit because she wants her skin to be light. I want to be light, I don't know, why would you really desire to be lighter than you are? Who said something about your skin? Yeah, so here's the truth, guys. The truth is that somebody said something somewhere. You remember the story of Adam in the Garden of Eden? When God approached Adam, what did he say? He said, who told you that you are naked? Because they were running away from God and trying to hide. Who told you that you are naked? So today I can also ask the same question. Who told you that you are not beautiful the way you are? Who told you that you are too dark? Too dark against which standard? Who told you that your hair is not beautiful the way it is? Who told you? Somebody said something somewhere that changed the narrative of black women, the way we perceive our beauty. Somebody said something. Yeah, and that's the narrative that we have to change. Yeah, so Namibia being a diverse culture, we know that we have beautiful women with all shades and colors, and we are supposed to embrace ourselves in our different categories, but not in comparison to one another. Because we know that the black women, the black person of Africa, have you ever seen the people of South Sudan, how they look like? The people of South Sudan, I think they are the darkest of skin tones in Africa. And that is the standard where we're supposed to look at when we measure our beauty. Because the real black person has a deep skin, dark color. They have a rather flat nose, a little bit of like a line nose. They have fuller lips. And that is how we look like. And the hair doesn't grow straight out of the hair. So really, I'm not here to say that do not relax your hair, do not look the way you want to look. I think it's time that we learn to embrace, and love ourselves in who we really are, in who God really made us, because we are all creation of God. And remember that God, when created everything, he rested and he said everything was good. He was satisfied. He knew that there was nothing left behind. So God was comfortable in our skin color, and that is the standard that we are supposed to use. And then we have the mixed race, and then we have the categories of white people, and they have their own standard of beauty. The mixed generation of Namibia have their own standard of beauty because their skin is fairer than ours. Their hair may be different than ours. Their features may be a little bit more European, though not all of them have the features of European descent. And then we have the categories of, us now, maybe people who look like me. And there is nobody who's supposed to say that if you don't have a nose this shape, then your nose is ugly or something like that. Or if you don't have, hair that are easier to manage, then your hair is bad or ugly. But that is how the hair grow out of the head, and that's how God designed us, and that's how he created us. So when we stop, when we change the narrative, we change that voice in our head, then we don't need to put our children under the pressure of pulling their skin, or there's a lot of things that happen to the scalp. I think we all have to embrace our beauties in our different shades and skin colors and hair types, and and just we have to be ourselves in the way that God created us. He never did anything to correct anything. He created us the way he created us, and that's how we have to embrace that beauty. And I'm not saying that you are not supposed to wear your weave. I wear mine, I have mine, but we are not supposed to do this because we are afraid of our own hair, or we are afraid of being black, or we are afraid of because somebody else is not approving of our beauty. I think this is just a narrative that came from somewhere that we have to change. So even if we do our kids' hair, we should do our children's hair with all love and gentleness, and not to pull the hair and put them in a stressful situation. The child now is sitting in a class, they can't concentrate because the hair have been pulled, and the skin, you can just see that the skin is pulled. So I think we have to be now gentle with ourselves and accept ourselves the way God created us. All this being said, we are coming back to answer the question, is beauty still in the eye of the beholder? So according to my own answer, I would say that beauty might be in the eye of the beholder if the mind was not distorted. I mean, if somebody handed you the mirror, if somebody exposed you to a magazine that told you that, no, this is how beauty is supposed to look like, what would you say? Definitely the mind has been distorted, and the eye is not independent of the mind. I mean, the eye cannot look to something and have its own independent opinion rather than what the mind is saying. But if the mind is distorted by the pre-colonial people, the white people's supremacy ideologies and all that, what do we say? Is beauty still in the eye of the beholder? I mean, if it is still, then please comment down below. I would love to see your comments. So thank you for watching this video to the end. I'm grateful for your time. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel and share the video.